Okay, so in first place, Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas second, Carlos Sainz in third, Landon Norris fourth, Pierre Gasly fifth, Lewis Hamilton in sixth. If you're wondering where Charles Leclerc is, his car had a drive shaft malfunction. His car has a drive shaft malfunction. Ferrari was over eager to start his broken car and they didn't actually properly check his car. Which I think is still fair. You know, it's sad that he can't even start the race, but I think it's unfair. It is still unfair that he was able to keep the first position. I think that is what I felt was a little bit unfair. They're just showing Charles Leclerc's car in the Ferrari pit garage. Unfortunately, he will not drive in this race, because Ferrari cannot check and make sure that the car is actually correct and ready for race before they actually confirm. Because they literally said today, oh no, there's nothing wrong with his gearbox, he's gonna race. Guess what? He can't race. Okay, so at the moment, Verstappen is being chased by Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas is very close to Verstappen. So it's literally Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas is building their own lead. They're on the race on their own. Third place, Carlos Sainz cannot catch up to Valtteri Bottas because Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen is pushing each other in the front. Doing a pretty good job about it, I have to be honest. On this track, anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. If you push too hard, you will end up with some type of damage. Even if it's just a small amount of damage, the chance of you pushing too hard might still cause you to damage your car. However, as far as I know, downforce isn't the biggest issue on this track. I believe brakes is one of the main concerns on this track. If your braking system is not that good, then you're obviously going to heat it up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about in the past. In the past, there was always people's cars that would eventually break because of their brakes malfunctioning. Because the braking system heats up so much that the brakes itself start breaking. So that is aka malfunctioning. They're showing Perez behind Vettel. So Vettel is being chased by Perez. Vettel is being chased by Perez. I hope that Perez catches up and passes Vettel. When the race started, Valtteri Bottas was trying very hard to go up onto the inside. However, Verstappen was defending immediately off of the start. Valtteri Bottas thought he was going to slip in alongside him before the entry inside lane of the first corner of the starting lane, but he didn't. You couldn't do that. I am happy that Verstappen is in first place. I feel that last race 2 weekends ago, I believe that Red Bull just cannot out-strategy the masterminds of Mercedes. They can't even come up with alternative plan Bs if Mercedes did what they did. And the fact that they weren't even aware that they had two medium tires last race it's just insane to me, that they weren't even prepared for a plan B in case Mercedes decided to put Lewis Hamilton twice with medium tires. So I do want Verstappen to win, but remember, my only concern is that I don't want Mercedes to dominate the whole season. It is boring, it's repetitive, it is just unnecessary. So yeah, so what I'm seeing now is that Bottas and Verstappen is building a 3-second lead because Carlos Sainz is 4 seconds behind Bottas. Bottas is 1 second behind Verstappen, which means that Bottas and Verstappen, they're taking a lead. However, I would not be surprised in the next few laps someone will crash. Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, with their inexperience, with their very low tier car, will hit the barrier. It could be any other back racers that could hit the barrier, and we're back to square one with no significant lead, as this safety car will have to come out. This is Monte Carlo after all. Max Verstappen just made the fastest lap, 1 minute 16. 1 minute 16, boys and girls. Fastest lap, 1 minute 16. They're showing that even though Verstappen is fast and Valtteri Bottas is losing sector times, Valtteri Bottas is not getting left in the dust. Valtteri Bottas is sticking with Verstappen. So basically, if Valtteri Bottas wants to finally win a race, this is his to win. He has the car. I can promise you, Mercedes has got more power, more speed than the Red Bull. I don't care what you think, what you believe. Red Bull is not as powerful. They do not have as much technical ability and power in the reserve as, like Red Bull just is not as powerful as a Mercedes. I cannot explain that to you. All I can say is that if you think that Red Bull catched up to Mercedes performance-wise, I would say they're using their bendy wings to catch up, and bendy wings is not raw power. I can promise you that. What do I think about bendy wings? I think as long as the FIA has tested it, which they have. Remember, all of these cars go through tests, and the Red Bull was cleared. And only when cameras were pointed and the British commentators that are obviously biased to everybody except their own country, drivers, of course they would point that out. And that is when we figured, okay, so there is some bendiness to the Red Bull wing. So what does that mean? So basically what it means is that there is less drag being forced on the Red Bull. Less drag. Less drag means more straight line speed. If you don't know that, cannot help you. That is what it is. Okay, what is funny is that Verstappen and Bottas is not getting... Okay, wait. Max Verstappen, fastest lap again. 1 minute 16 seconds, 0.722. So 1:16.722. So he's just cutting off 200ths of a second there, shaving it off. It's like barely it's barely faster, but it's fast enough to keep him some. Oh my goodness! Sainz is catching up to Bottas. Carlos Sainz is catching up to Bottas. Norris is 6 seconds. So Carlos Sainz is slowly but surely trying to crawl back to the leaders. Carlos Sainz is slowly but surely crawling his way back to the first two positions. So Carlos Sainz is in third, Landon Norris is in fourth, which is 6 seconds behind the leaders. So the McLaren of Landon Norris cannot keep up with the pace of Carlos Sainz Ferrari, because Carlos Sainz is now trying to find his groove to catch up to the main pack, the leaders, which is Verstappen and Bottas. Fastest lap for Norris. Fastest lap Norris, 16.655. Why did he allow Carlos Sainz to get away from him? Why did Norris allow Carlos Sainz to get away from you, boy, if you already have a car that can do fastest lap? Gasly is in 5th, Hamilton in 6th. So let's just look at the positions again, and we'll look at how far away. So Verstappen is still leading Bottas by 1 second. So Bottas is just sticking with Verstappen, trying to see if Verstappen will make a mistake. Lewis Hamilton is in 6th position. Okay, I'm just curious where he is, because we can't always ignore the fact that Hamilton is a great driver. But I think on this track, Hamilton is not going to be much of a threat. The only time that Hamilton will be a threat is if there's massive stops and massive, team strategies where safety cars come in. Then I believe Hamilton could have a very good chance of leapfrogging other drivers, because his team is just that good. His team can literally strategize him into the first position. However, I think this time they are going to need a miracle, which again they've done in the past, where Valtteri Bottas and Russell had a very, very coincidental crash that caused safety cars to come out when Hamilton went off the track, dude. Like, I don't know what is going on, but Imola to me was a very suspicious and suspect race, where Valtteri Bottas and Russell was crashing just few minutes after Hamilton made a massive mistake and went off the track. Okay, so let's just look at the positionings and oh my goodness, Sainz is catching up to Bottas. Sainz is catching up, and actually Norris is actually catching up to Sainz. So Norris was 6 seconds behind the leaders, and then all of a sudden he's 3 seconds, which means that Sainz is catching up. I mean, Norris is catching up to Sainz. Norris was 6 seconds, Sainz was 3 seconds. Sainz is now 2 seconds behind the leaders, which is exactly where he needs to be, because he's now a second behind Bottas. Landon Norris is a second behind Carlos Sainz, because he's 3 seconds behind the leaders. Gasly is Norris is 3 seconds behind Sainz, and Sainz is 2 seconds behind Bottas. So there's no seconds. Sorry, I'm just trying to do calculations, not realizing they're showing the actual distance between the cars in front of them, not the distance between the cars in front of the actual race that's leading the race. How many laps do we have? We've got 78 minus 11, so we've got 67 laps left. 67 laps left. Norris is still 3 seconds behind Sainz. Sainz is 2 seconds behind Bottas. Gasly is 2 seconds behind Norris. Hamilton, which is in 6th position, is 1 second behind Gasly. That'll actually make sense, because everybody probably knew that Hamilton is coming through and that they would need to improve their speed, and that is why no one has allowed the gaps to grow. They actually made sure that their gaps decrease. We've got Vettel in 7th. I want Vettel to race Hamilton. This is the track for Vettel to be able to have a chance at challenging the Mercedes of Hamilton. But I'm assuming he's just not going to be able to do much, because he's not the Vettel he once was. Opt up on, I don't know what, Adderall or whatever they use to improve their reaction time, because Vettel has lost his skill, dude. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it's 7 seconds behind Hamilton. He's losing time. Vettel is 7 seconds behind Hamilton. He's in 7th position. Perez is 2 seconds behind Vettel. I want Perez to pass Vettel and then challenge Hamilton. That is what I want. Vettel will not be the guy to do it. I'm just gonna call it right here. Vettel is not able to do it. He's not the same driver he once was, for several reasons. Some reasons that are pretty concerning and maybe even controversial. Giovinazzi is in 9th behind Perez, 2 seconds behind Perez. Perez is now 1 second behind Vettel. So don't think for 1 second Perez is not going to try or take an attempt or take a shot at passing Vettel. However, remember, this is Monaco, people. Oh my goodness, just as I said that, Perez put on the fastest lap. Fastest lap for Perez. 1 minute 15.949. That's a decently fast lap right there, man. So don't forget, boys and girls, this is Monaco. It is a very, 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 very tough track to pass because of the barriers, because of the tightness of the track. it is very hard to pass without causing damage to your vehicle, especially if there's two cars next to each other driving at 200 plus kilometers / miles per hour, because remember they do reach 300 kilometers. So they are focusing on Perez trying to get past Vettel. We'll have to wait and see. So Giovinazzi is behind this squabble. Actually, he's 4 seconds behind Perez, so he won't be getting any advantage if Vettel slows down too much, or if Perez passes Vettel, he won't get too much of an advantage. There is this incident with black and white flag for car 9 Mazepin. Okay, we all predicted that Mazepin was going to do something. I think this will be the start of Mazepin. He made another fastest lap. Perez made another fastest lap. 1 minute 15.88. He wants to pass Vettel. He wants to pressure Vettel to make a mistake, and he wants to pass him. You can see it. The fastest laps, consecutive fastest laps, is proof that Perez wants to get past old man Vettel. Ocon is in 10th position, 3 seconds behind Giovinazzi's Alfa Romeo. Then you've got Stroll, which is the Vettel's teammate. Stroll and his Aston Martin is 2 seconds behind Ocon and the Alpine of Ocon. And then you've got Raikkonen, also in Alfa Romeo, 12th position, 4 seconds behind Stroll. Then you've got Ricciardo, the other McLaren that did pretty badly in qualifying. Ricciardo said that he is surprised with the gap of performance when he looks at how well his teammate Landon Norris did. Landon Norris is in 4th. Ricciardo is all the way down in 13th position. Not a lucky number, I'm just going to say. And then also Alonso is right behind Ricciardo in 14th position. 14th position. So if you're wondering why Charles Leclerc is not here, he couldn't start the race because Ferrari couldn't fix his car. He had a drive shaft problem, drive shaft malfunction. Ricciardo is in 13th, 2 seconds behind Raikkonen, and then Alonso is behind Ricciardo in 14th, 2 seconds behind Ricciardo. I'm guessing and assuming that Alonso will definitely pass Ricciardo, seeing that Ricciardo does not seem comfortable driving that car on that specific track. Russell, the Williams of Russell, 3 seconds behind Alonso in 15th. Nicholas Latifi in another Williams, 1 second behind his teammate George Russell. And then Tsunoda is in the other AlphaTauri Red Bull worker team, second team should I say. That is a 47 seconds behind the leader. Now it's 50 seconds, still 47 seconds behind the leader. And he's very close to Latifi. Tsunoda is very close to Latifi. Nicholas Latifi in front of him, approximately a second or so behind. So maybe Tsunoda might be able to pass the Williams of Nicholas Latifi. You've got Mick Schumacher in 18th position. Then you've got Mazepin in 19th position. So Mazepin is more than 4 seconds behind, all the way last, 4 seconds behind his teammate. And I don't know, Mazepin is racing to just keep his car alive. I don't think he wants to crash. I think the only thing Mazepin is concerned is to keep his car. Let's see if Mazepin focusing purely on trying to be in last position just to not damage his car, if he is able to do that. I think that might be harder said than done, because this track is going to take a toll on him. He is almost 5 seconds. He's almost losing half a second a lap on his teammate, if I'm looking at these numbers correctly. He is losing almost half a second a lap on his teammate. Remember, Mazepin is last, and Mazepin is literally Mazepin's goal is not to crash his car. He is fighting himself not to crash the car because he knows that's the only thing that he cannot do in this race. Otherwise, if he does it, then guess what? Then all the memes will continue to be very bad and will point directly towards him, unfortunately, for crashing again. Okay, so let's look at this. We've got Verstappen. Pace on track is 1 minute 15.7 seconds after 16 laps. So Verstappen has a 1 minute 15.7 seconds. Current pace on track. But that is not their... Okay, but it has to be their fastest laps. That has to be their fastest laps, right? Why are they only showing Verstappen, Vettel, Bottas, Sainz, and Norris? 16 laps on track pace. So what they're saying is that Verstappen has the best possible pace that you can have, but they are also saying Vettel has got the second best pace. They are saying that Vettel has got the second best pace on the race, in this race at the moment after 16 laps. Now it's 18 laps. So how many laps do we have left? Well, there's now 50 laps. Sorry, 60 laps. It will be 59 laps. After this lap, there'll be 59 laps left remaining of this race. My main concern looking at this race is that Bottas and Mercedes are strategizing again, which makes me worried that Mercedes is going to win this Grand Prix with Valtteri Bottas purely on strategy. And I do not want that to happen. I do not want Verstappen again to lose because Mercedes have superior race strategies that Red Bull has no idea how to counter. They've got no strategies of their own. They have got no way to foresee and let's say counter any strategy that Mercedes throw at them, even if they're in first place. I feel that is the weakest part of Red Bull. The weakest thing of Red Bull is there's two weak things. Red Bull does not have the raw power that the Mercedes have, but the fact that they're in first place and the strategy of Mercedes always beats them, that means that their main problem right now is that they do not have race winning strategies. If they cannot counter the strategies of Mercedes while they're in first place in the race, then unfortunately you need to start looking at your strategies. You need to maybe look at focusing on whoever is your strategist in your team, or if you have a strategist team, to maybe focus on getting a strategist team to be the best that they could be, to give them the resource that they need and give them the respect so that they are able to produce the correct strategies in competing and in reaction to the strategies that Mercedes, because at the moment Red Bull strategies suck. They are unable to compete, to counter, to plan their way out of the strategies that Mercedes have. Even if Red Bull is in first, Mercedes will always somehow push their car in front, and we are reaching that point in the race where Mercedes are going to strategize and decide what the best strategy is to beat Verstappen. Don't you doubt for 1 second that right now, because of the current normal standing, because remember, even though the race is going on, right now Mercedes has all the information that they require to make a strategic decision. So with that strategic decision and what they make, what will Red Bull be able to do to counter whatever Mercedes throw at them? I do not know, but if they don't do something, Mercedes will make Red Bull lose another race because Red Bull does not respect the fact that they need to have a strategy in place for the strategies that Mercedes are going to throw at them. Okay, so first place still we have Max Verstappen. 1 second. Wait. Is that 3 seconds? Are you kidding me? So Valtteri Bottas is losing his pace to Max Verstappen. You have to understand one thing. Remember, Max Verstappen's duty is to build a lead because he's first. There's no one in his way. He's first. He's trying to build a lead. If he cannot get away from Verstappen, if Verstappen cannot get away from Valtteri Bottas, they both have first names starting with a V. I mean, they both have names starting with a V, Verstappen and Valtteri. So if Verstappen cannot get away from Valtteri Bottas, then basically it comes down to strategy, it comes down to pit stops, and that is where it becomes risky. So Valtteri Bottas is 3.6 seconds behind Max Verstappen. Remember, that is not really a lead. A lead is 10 seconds. Having 10-second lead is when you can say that you have a lead. But 3 seconds is not a lead, so... And now I'm quite surprised that he got 3... Okay, now he's getting 4 seconds. Interesting. 4-second lead. Carlos Sainz is... 6 seconds, right? So why is it saying 5? Okay, so it's 5 seconds. So 5 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. Landon Norris is 5 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. Pierre Gasly, 13 seconds. Interesting. So yeah, like I said, this is the point of the race where Mercedes strategies will start running their algorithms, and they will start deciding what they will do, what strategy they will follow. Now Mercedes will start running their algorithm, and that they'll start deciding on the strategy that they're going to implement to get Verstappen to lose his first place to Valtteri Bottas. Because remember, Lewis Hamilton is all the way down in 6th. Lewis Hamilton is 15th place behind Pierre Gasly. 15 seconds behind. He is behind Pierre Gasly, is behind Landon Norris. Landon Norris 5 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. And then Carlos Sainz is 5 seconds. Sorry, now 6 seconds. 6 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas is now 4 seconds. Actually, 4.5 seconds, which means that Verstappen is slowly but surely trying to build his lead. Slowly but surely. I think what is happening now is Valtteri Bottas is scared. He's scared he's going to lose. He's going to make a mistake. I think Valtteri Bottas is scared he's going to make a mistake, and that's why he's backing off just a little bit. Just a little bit. He's not slowing down too much. He's just backing off enough so he won't cause damage to his car. Okay, I had some viewing issues, but here we go. So we are waiting to see who will take the pits first. It might be that Bottas is slowing down because he won't be pitting he won't be the first one to pit. Let me just say that he won't be the first one to pit. So the number of laps on the tires, Bottas' tires is 30 laps, Verstappen 30. I'm just trying to hear what they're saying on the radios. It sounds like Verstappen is somewhat hinting at going for the pit stop. But remember, I think Bottas and Mercedes... Okay, so Bottas is telling Mercedes that he doesn't have much tire left. So Bottas is telling... But you have to understand one thing. The one thing what I've noticed with the Spanish Grand Prix is that Mercedes basically baits. They are baiting. They are throwing out false information. Like, oh, it's, give us an indication that the tires are not doing well. Don't be overconfident that your tires are doing too well, and don't give exact information. That's what I'm trying to say. So I will not be surprised if what's happening now is they desperately want Verstappen to pit first, and then when Verstappen pits, for whatever reason, Bottas is going to stay out. Or somehow Mercedes is going to make Verstappen, when Verstappen pits, Mercedes is going to somehow strategize how they can possibly get Valtteri Bottas the first place. And the only way that I'm thinking is they're going to force him to stay out for a little bit longer and maybe pit directly after, but then he would still lose place because he's 5 seconds, he's losing pace. 5 seconds behind Verstappen. He used to be 1 second. Now he's literally like on 5 seconds. So he's like 4.95 seconds behind Verstappen. The one good thing about this is that at least Verstappen is not being hunted with 1 second, the driver, the car being just 1 second behind him. He is somewhat getting a lead on Valtteri Bottas. Okay, so Carlos Sainz is complaining that the back markers, Mazepin and Mick Schumacher, they are not moving out of the way quick enough. Bottas will not pit first. Bottas will not pit. Mercedes is waiting and baiting Red Bull to get them to pit first. There would be no advantage for Mercedes to pit now. No advantage. If Valtteri Bottas pits first, then there is almost no way that Valtteri Bottas has any chance of beating or getting in front of Max Verstappen. That is why I say that they specifically decided to slow down, because they want him to stay a specific number, specific distance. I have a specific gap in front with Verstappen. Keep that number. They have a number. Trust me, when it comes to Mercedes, they give their drivers numbers. Say, do not be behind this many seconds and stay within this amount of seconds. There's people saying, why are we racing on a track we can't overtake? Okay, let me make it very easy. The reason why they will never not race on Monaco is because Monaco Grand Prix has history, has pedigree. So don't believe anything that anybody tells you, because this is the only reason why they're racing on Monaco is because of the pedigree and the history, the very rich history with Formula 1. Famous drivers, Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Damon Hill, all of them. All of the famous drivers, Alan Prost, all of them. Jackie Stewart, all of them raced on Monaco. So there's a rich history. They will not let Monaco go, and Monaco does not want to let go of their history, as it does give them some glamour and some recognition worldwide. Let's face it, mentioning Monaco every time there's a Formula One race is free tourism advertisement for Monaco, and why the hell will they let go of that? Hamilton just went into the pits. His pit was 2.2 seconds. His total time spent in the pits is 23.7 seconds. Hamilton comes out, he's in 8th place. Hamilton is now in 8th place. Interesting. He is behind Perez. I want to see Perez pass Hamilton, dude. I want to see the battle between Perez and Hamilton. Because Perez has to somewhat have some handle on his car, so I can't imagine that he won't be able to do anything with Hamilton. Okay, so massive screw up. Bottas pit crew cannot get the wheels off of Bottas's car. Pit crew cannot get the wheels off. Pit crew cannot get the wheel off of Valtteri Bottas's car. They cannot get the wheel off of. That is it. That is so. So Valtteri Bottas will no longer be anywhere near the front. Valtteri Bottas has been destroyed by his own pit crew. I am going to say it. Maybe no one else will say this, but I feel Mercedes are absolutely destroying Valtteri. They do not have any indication, any motivation to allow Valtteri Bottas to do well in a race when it comes to getting first place and win a race. So Valtteri Bottas, I believe they're probably gonna end his. Okay, wait. Okay, so Valtteri Bottas finally got out of the pits. He is most likely gonna end up in last position, maybe. Valtteri Bottas getting literally left second position, went to the pits, now he's in 17th position. I believe someone crashed, so Gasly. Dude, there's so many things happening at once, I can't cover all. Okay, so Gasly, Perez was passing Vettel, on the straight, going up the hill after the pit straight. So the first corner right, you have a straight going up the hill. Perez was doing a move on Vettel. We don't know if he went in front. And looking at all the data I have in front of me, which is very convenient. So it's Pierre Gasly. Damn. So Pierre Gasly was racing. Pierre Gasly was racing. Okay, fine. So that race was between Sebastian Vettel and Pierre Gasly. But the main thing is that the camera cut away. They didn't even follow that, which is insane. They didn't even follow that to show us exactly what happened right after Gasly and Vettel made a move on each other. Okay, so Lewis Hamilton is unhappy with his team for making him pit early because he sees that Vettel actually got new positions, gained positions because of his late pit stop. Um, yeah, so what they're saying is that Pierre Gasly's old tires was better than Lewis Hamilton's new tires when Lewis Hamilton came out of the pits. But you have to understand, these are the British commentators now, obviously, trying to emphasize the fact that their hero is being put in a bad position because of team strategy. However, they forget that the last race Lewis Hamilton won because of team strategy. So let's just not be too oh my goodness, who is passing? Oh, so Perez is passing his teammate. However, Verstappen just went to the pits. He came out just behind Perez. Perez still needs to pit. Lewis Hamilton in 7th position. Lewis Hamilton is angry because he realizes that once and for all, his race will not give him first or second place. So basically, Perez is now racing to try. Perez is out in front, desperately trying to build a lead to get out in front of Lewis Hamilton when he pits. So if you don't know this, person in front is Perez. I don't know why. Why is this thing wrong? Why are you wrong, sir? Why is my data wrong on screen? Oh, it's because Perez came. Okay, fine. There's a little bit of a delay on the viewing and the data. So the data is ahead of what is happening on my screen. So Perez just came into the pits and comfortably ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Comfortably ahead of Lewis Hamilton. He's even in front of Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton must be angry. Landon Norris is in 3rd. When will Landon Norris pit? I'm wondering. Carlos Sainz is also yet to pit. Yeah, so if you don't know, Valtteri Bottas is out of the race because of his wheel. I am so surprised. Like, I don't understand, why does Mercedes neglect and make Valtteri Bottas literally, they have the worst priority for Valtteri Bottas. They don't care if he even finishes races, dude. They have no, like, I don't even understand why Valtteri Bottas is racing for Mercedes. I think he destroyed his career, actually. Because it just seems like they don't care about his positions in any race, really. They just want him to be the second guy, the second Mercedes driver that helps Lewis Hamilton. That is all. So Carlos Sainz Carlos Sainz pit crew is telling him that he will have to jump on Sebastian Vettel and maybe even Perez if he pits. So Yeah, he is asking where Perez was. Lewis Hamilton is angrily asking where Perez's position is, and Perez is in 4th position. Lewis Hamilton is in 7th position. Okay, so basically Carlos Sainz is yet to pit. Carlos Sainz is yet to pit. 4 seconds behind Verstappen, but he's yet to pit. It might come in this lap. One thing I don't understand, Lewis Hamilton qualifies in 6th position and then gets angry why he's not near the front leaders. Gets angry why people in front of him are still in front of him. Because, okay, maybe Sebastian Vettel was behind Lewis Hamilton when the race started. However, ultimately, he knows, he should know better than all the other drivers. He has the most experience when it comes to most of these young drivers. That he knows that if you do not qualify near the front, you will be stuck in that position. Can't believe that Valtteri Bottas was screwed by his team again, dude. Like, will you ever see that type of mistake happen to Lewis Hamilton? Will you ever see, oh no, oh Lewis Hamilton, we can't take off your tire so you can actually continue the race? Have you ever seen that? That is insane, dude. Insane. The type of mistakes that they allow with Valtteri Bottas is insane because they will never do those same mistakes with Lewis Hamilton. It is insane, dude. I don't get it. It's a monopoly. It is basically favoritism. It's basically pay to win, because I would not be surprised if there's some money being thrown. Like, it's just, I just don't like it, man. I don't want to go down this conspiracy thing, but it's always been that way. You get a first driver, the first driver of a team, and Lewis Hamilton is the number 1 driver for Mercedes, and unfortunately number 2 drivers always get screwed unfairly, unjustly. It's a monopoly. That is all it is. It is basically a blanket on corruption, pretending that you're not corrupt by having favoritism in a team that you're supposed to not have favoritism. Okay, so Carlos Sainz is still pushing his car pretty hard. And he's asked that his team give race control the information to please ask the backmarkers to get out of the way. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still wondering if Carlos Sainz pit or not, man. Now I'm starting to wonder, because staying out this late and having that type of form. Okay, I am going to guess that he has pitted. I'm gonna guess that Carlos Sainz must have pitted because his performance seems like he has new tires. Oh my goodness, I just don't know. I don't know, because this freaking feed sometimes comes and goes. Plus, it's delayed as well, so it's a little bit of a downer. A little bit of a down. So black and white flag for car number 47, Mick Schumacher. So Mick Schumacher is having some problems. Lewis Hamilton is now catching up to Pierre Gasly. My question is Lewis Hamilton going to crash his car trying to get past Gasly? Is Lewis Hamilton going to crash in a wall trying to get past Pierre Gasly? So if you don't know this, Lewis Hamilton is now actually catching up to Pierre Gasly, and he is literally forcing, with force, with intention, trying to get to Pierre Gasly to pass him. You can see it by the way that he drives. He is literally catching up to Pierre Gasly, and obviously, if you're catching up to a car and you're meaning to catch up to the car in front of you, you are obviously trying to pass him. Now, passing, if you don't know this, Lewis Hamilton is trying to pass on a track that is notoriously known to be impossible to pass on. So the risk that Lewis Hamilton will take to pass Pierre Gasly is going to be insane. Okay, he's actually losing pace. Lewis Hamilton might be backing off. He might not. I'm not sure. Serena Williams, the guest of Aston Martin. Okay, great. I guess. Okay, so I am going to go on a limb and say that Carlos Sainz somehow is 3 seconds behind Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz might have pitted. I still don't it. Doesn't make sense to me that he pitted, but his pace, like I didn't see him pit, so I'm still questioning whether or not he pit. According to the information that I have here, it says that he pitted. The information I have says he pitted, but why would he only be 3 seconds behind Verstappen? Norris is 9 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. Landon Norris, McLaren, 9 seconds behind Carlos Sainz. Perez has just made the fastest lap, or he still has the fastest lap, but he's 17 seconds behind the leaders. 17 seconds behind the leaders. No, wait, he's 17 seconds behind Landon Norris. So he is like 9, so that's... He is 27, he's 30 seconds behind, so Perez is 30 seconds behind the leader. 30 seconds. That is kind of insane. Daniel Ricciardo just went in for the pits. Daniel Ricciardo will be rejoining. He is in 13th position. Alonso just overtook Kimi Räikkönen. But that could be a pit. It might be that he overtook him because of pit. Yeah, so Kimi Räikkönen came into pit. So Kimi Räikkönen came into pit, and then Alonso passed Kimi Räikkönen because Kimi Räikkönen went into the pits. Nicholas Latifi in the pits. I am so surprised that Mercedes has no intention to even allow Valtteri Bottas to get close to winning a race. They don't even want Valtteri Bottas to win a race. It's sad, man. I maybe he's just there for the paycheck. Because at this point, he must just be riding to get the paycheck, which makes sense. That is his His business. It is Valtteri Bottas' business if he's just driving to get the paycheck. Ricardo is behind Kimi Räikkönen. Ricardo is behind Kimi Räikkönen. Oh no. That is not. Okay, so Ricardo is trying to pass a back marker? No, that is definitely Kimi Räikkönen. It looks like a Haas, so do forgive me, but Kimi Räikkönen's car looks awfully similar than the Haas car. And the fact that Ricardo was getting so close and so quickly moving up to the Alfa Romeo of Räikkönen, I thought it has to be a Haas. But now I realize, no, it's Kimi Räikkönen. It's definitely Kimi Räikkönen. So Ricardo is trying to get past Kimi Räikkönen. Let's see how he does. Let's see if Kimi Räikkönen... Verstappen had to unlap, or should I say lap. Verstappen was lapping Ricardo and was lapping Kimi Räikkönen, and that is why there was a little bit of a stall, a pause moment, because Ricardo can't push too hard when the leader is trying to pass them, because they will normally get blue flags, and blue flags mean you better get out of the way of the leader. So now he just lapped Giovinazzi, I think. Oh no, they are showing him passing Kimi Räikkönen. Sorry, my apologies. I forgot. My picture is delayed. My picture that I see is delayed, so he was passing Kimi Räikkönen. Okay, so basically this race in a nutshell, if you want to keep watching, then keep watching, but I will save you at least half an hour. Verstappen has to win this. Verstappen has to win this. If Verstappen loses, okay, yes, I do understand that Carlos Sainz is 2 seconds behind the leader, 2 seconds behind Verstappen. I do understand that Carlos Sainz is 3.1 seconds now, real time, 3.0 seconds behind the leader, but Verstappen is the one that is basically the only one that can lose first place. So if Verstappen loses first place, which I don't see happening, so I would say Verstappen should win this Grand Prix. If you want to keep watching, but this is Verstappen's race to lose. Verstappen should win this. There's no reason for him not to win this. And unfortunately, this was a very uneventful race, with Charles Leclerc's drive shaft not working, Ferrari claiming, oh, we fixed the gearbox works, but did not actually do enough action to make sure that the car will actually function, because the drive shaft broke and Leclerc could not even start the race. Like, if Leclerc could have started the race, Leclerc would have won, I'm pretty sure of it, as long as his car wasn't breaking for mechanical reasons. If I was a betting man and Leclerc was going to start the race, Leclerc would have won. I am almost 100% sure of it. Even if Max Verstappen gets extra aggressive, the chance of Max Verstappen crashing and maybe causing Leclerc to crash, and then also getting himself penalized in the process, is massive. So I would have said that even if Max Verstappen is a very aggressive driver, he might have tried to get past Leclerc, he would have definitely caused an accident for both of them, and he would have most likely gotten penalized. Hamilton is 1.7 seconds behind Gasly. I think Hamilton is basically just relaxing. Hamilton, I think, is in the position where he's telling himself to not push and not worry about the victory. Not worry about passing the guy in front of him, not worrying about getting past the guy in front of him. I think that is what is ultimately going on here. So Lewis Hamilton will most likely stay in 7th position. Unless if Pierre Gasly still has to come to the pits, or unless Pierre Gasly makes a mistake, unless Sebastian Vettel in 5th position makes a mistake, unless Sergio Perez in 4th position makes a mistake, unless Landon Norris makes a mistake, unless Carlos Sainz makes a mistake. That is still very much possible. Unless Verstappen makes a mistake. I didn't mention him because I'm just thinking, the poor guy, lost the previous race purely because of Red Bull not being able to strategize, and counter strategize when Mercedes is strategizing to beat them. So that's the only reason why Verstappen lost the previous race to Lewis Hamilton. So that is why I don't even want to think that Verstappen will lose this race. However, anything is possible. Like I said, it is not that I don't want. It is not that I am a Max Payne. Max Payne. I'm thinking about video games. It's not that I'm a Max Verstappen fanboy. I just do not want to see Mercedes win. I want Max Verstappen to beat Lewis Hamilton. He is the guy that can do it. He is in the position. His team is capable of allowing it. However, I assume or I am guessing, I am foreseeing and foretelling the future by telling you that I think what's going to happen is the FIA, if you don't know who the FIA is the Formula One governing body, the Racing Federale International Automobile Racing Federation. If they are investigating Red Bull's flexible wings at the back, I think when and if they tell Red Bull to stop having flexible wings, I think Red Bull will no longer be competitive enough to beat Mercedes. That is what I'm saying. That is what I believe. So maybe this might be the final time we see Max Verstappen win a race if the FIA does not clamp hard on the flexible wing of the Red Bull. Trust me when I say this, the flexible wing on the Red Bull is very suspect. It's very sus, but I feel they are the only guys that can catch up and compete with Mercedes. That is the only reason why I don't want, but that just feels like I'm basically cheating. I'm basically allowing someone to cheat. So it's a very polarizing situation, very hypocritical situation. I don't want Mercedes to win, but I also don't necessarily want Max Verstappen to win because they're using and exploiting a mechanic like flexible wings to catch up. I just don't think that is fair. Not really much is happening right now. They just showed that Landon Norris started in the 5th position. He's now in 3rd, and he's 70 seconds, over a minute ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo is not doing very well. Not sure exactly why, but like I said, team orders have a big part in Formula One. Team orders is a big part. 52 laps out of 78. So that means we have 26 laps remaining. 26 laps remaining, boys and girls. 25 laps remaining. 25 laps remaining. It's 20 degrees Celsius. 20.4 degrees Celsius. So it's not that hot in Monaco actually. It's warm enough. It is not necessarily winter there, but it's definitely not that hot. Max Verstappen fastest lap 1 minute 14. They are just showing Max Verstappen's fastest lap. However, I believe Sergio Perez still holds the fastest lap, which I'm not sure what that is, but it has to be more than 1 minute 14 something. They are showing that Pierre Gasly is driving on the edge. He's getting so close to the barriers that it's insane how close he gets to the barriers at the speed that he's doing, and then there's any moment anything can happen and he might lose his position to Lewis Hamilton. So the commentators are talking about mental fatigue. They're talking about that the more you drive in Monaco, the mental fatigue kicks in, and that can cause people to make mistakes. And ultimately, that could have a negative effect on drivers that are in good positions. Okay, so this is going to be a slam dunk. Like this race is basically over. It was over 20 laps ago. Verstappen is going to finish first. Carlos Sainz will finish second. Landon Norris will finish third. The only thing that might change is if there's any accidents, any mistakes, any malfunctions, vehicle malfunctions, any driver errors. Maybe back markers are going to damage put the front runners in a bad position, a bad spot, and maybe someone might try and get in front of the guy in front of them. So what I'm trying to say is that Carlos Sainz might actually be able to catch up to Verstappen, because he is the closest to actually doing that, of course, because he's in second position. And of course, he's only 2.9 seconds behind Max Verstappen. However, Max Verstappen is most likely conserving his tires. So the first sector and the last sector, Carlos Sainz is faster than Verstappen. But like I mentioned, okay, so they say with the current standings, Verstappen will get 25 points, Lewis Hamilton will only get 6 points. And that means that Verstappen will just get first in the Drivers' Championship. So the final championship points, if the positions stay as they are and Lewis Hamilton finishes in 7th, then Lewis Hamilton will only get 6 points and Max Verstappen will get 25 points, the full 25 points. And Max Verstappen will have a total of 105 points at the end of this race if he finishes first. And Lewis Hamilton will then get 6 points because he is in 7th position. And he will have a total of 100 points at the end of this race. If these positions do not change, Lewis Hamilton will lose the lead of the Drivers' Championship and Verstappen will finally be in front of Lewis Hamilton for the first time in forever. The first time ever, Verstappen can actually challenge Lewis Hamilton head on for the championship. However, I am still going to bet that the FIA will definitely investigate the flexible wings on the Red Bull, and I'm almost certain that they will ban the flexible wings from Red Bull sooner, like within the next couple of months. That will happen, and then Red Bull will no longer have a straight line speed advantage, because that reduces drag. The flexible wing reduces drag, and that gives them an advantage, an unfair advantage on a straight line speed and on straights for the fast areas of the track. So all I'm trying to convey here is I'm trying to say that if you have a flexible wing like Red Bull does, you are faster on straights when there's no turns. When there's no turning, you just have to put your pedal to the metal, drive straight. Red Bull has an advantage with the flexible wing, And if the FIA, remember this is not confirmed, if the FIA does ban that, then that straight line speed advantage will be gone. It will be history. It will go kapoof, which means that I do not see Max Verstappen ever winning a race again. That is my honest opinion. I might be wrong. Maybe somehow Honda will somehow, and Red Bull in combination will somehow make their engines faster and more powerful. Because remember, they have continuous upgrades going on in the car. They continue to upgrade the car as the season progresses. So that's a very good chance that Red Bull might have the performance, even though they have to let go of the flexible wing. So Landon Norris sounds like he's trying to make a move to try and improve his laps. At the moment he's 12 seconds behind Carlos Sainz, which in the second. There would be no way. There's no way that Landon Norris is going to catch up to Carlos Sainz. And even if he does, he won't even be able to pass him. So Landon Norris, please do what you can with the third position. Be happy with third position, because that's the best that you have. I think that you should definitely not be overly zealous, overly greedy, and try and go for second position and then lose your third and second position because you were pushing too hard and then the car broke. Because ultimately McLaren, if you don't know this, McLaren notoriously always has issues with their cars. Notoriously, the history of McLaren cars, they always have some mechanical issues, especially when they least expect it. So I would say that if Landon Norris pushes that car even harder, he might very well lose any points at all. He will not even get to finish the race. So if I was Landon Norris, don't push the car, dude. Just keep it where it is at the moment. However, if Sergio Perez, which Sergio Perez is not directly behind Landon Norris, so Landon Norris doesn't really have to worry. Landon Norris is not being pushed by Sergio Perez because Sergio Perez is 21 seconds behind him. So ultimately, Landon Norris just needs to keep his head up, finish the car, get the car to the finish line, finish the end of the race, and then basically finish the car and get third position. I think that's the best he could do, and I think that is very respectable to get third position with the McLaren. The fact that the McLaren is not that fast makes it very good. Landon Norris did a very good job of getting that car into third position. For the type of performance his car has, he pulled a jack out of the hat. He pulled a rabbit out of the hat. He was a magician to get his car to be in third position, because his teammate Ricardo is in 12th position. Ricardo cannot even get close to the first 5 positions, let alone third position. Okay, so this is exactly where Formula One, where the new viewers, the viewers that don't know about Formula One, they watch all these hype like race to survive Netflix shows, and they watch all these movies that make racing seem extremely entertaining and action packed. However, real racing comes down to the machine, the driver, and if they can hold out. Do they have the endurance? Do they have the skill? Does the car have the performance? So basically how it goes, the hierarchy of how you win Formula One races is as follows. First, it's your car. If your car sucks, you will suck. I don't care what driver you are. If you don't have a good car, you will not be able to be in first place. I don't care how good you are. If your car sucks, you will not be in first place. So the hierarchy is you need a good car. Second thing is you need to have the mental fortitude, the driver ability to push and take risks. Driving a car is taking a risk, but it's also taking calculated risks. So yes, racing is a risk. Everything you do in racing. However, you need to do calculated risks. And that is what it means to be a skilled driver. You need to know when to push and when not to push. When to put your foot down and when to slow down. If you do not know those things, and if you have not practiced enough on a racetrack to understand the limits of your own, personal comfort, if you cannot push your own personal comfort on the track, and if you're not able to get more performance off of a track, then ultimately you are your own limit. However, the first hierarchy is if your car is even able to perform at the level it's supposed to perform. So that is why some cars will just never win a race, because they are just that bad. They are just that slow. So first thing is you need a good car. Then comes the driver skill. So first comes a good car, then driver skill, and then ultimately it comes down to luck, and it comes down to, all of those things. Comes down to the situation, whether all the cars in front of you crash out and you can just easily take the win because everybody in front of you crashed out. So there's so many things. So ultimately this is where the race becomes boring, because this is what racing is. Racing ultimately is the car, the driver, and the track. It is not me versus you. It is the car, the driver, and the track. And if you are in front of me and I'm faster than you and I can pass you, then I will pass you. But as we already know, that Monte Carlo is a track that is almost impossible to pass. There's a car under investigation for 10, car number 18. Getting a drive-through, car number 18. Is that Mick Schumacher? Oh, because he had black flags. He moved under black flags and he wasn't supposed to do that. So I think he's going to get a 5-second penalty maybe. Okay, so 63 laps completed out of 78, which means we have 15 laps remaining. Now we have 14 laps remaining. 14 laps remaining. This race was over 30 minutes ago, dude. Exactly the positions 30 minutes ago is exactly the positions that we are now. Ricardo is on. Oh, so Ricardo is under investigation. No. Ricardo is not under investigation. Crossing the white line. Okay, so Ricardo is being told that he is under investigation for crossing the white line. What that means is that when you get out of the pits, you're not allowed to leave the lane. So it is like driving on the road. You cannot just cross white lines. There are lines on the road for a reason. And specifically in Formula 1, there are lines when you exit the pit lane. And it seems like Ricardo crossed the white line at the exit of the pit lane. And that might give him a 5-second penalty. Okay. Some interesting developments. So Landon Norris, Perez is 1 second Perez is 1 second behind Norris. Sergio Perez is 1 second behind Landon Norris, pushing Landon Norris, and ultimately Perez is going to try and pass Landon Norris. They're showing Landon Norris's front wing banging on the floor as he's driving on the corner when you get to the marina area, to the seaside area. So Landon Norris is gonna try and defend. So all Landon Norris, okay, so basically what has to happen, Landon Norris needs to just drive defensively. Landon Norris needs to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake. First of all, he doesn't get pressured into making a mistake, and ultimately that Landon Norris might finish the championship in what? 3rd position? Really? So if Landon Norris finishes in 3rd position, he might be in 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. That is pretty good, dude. Pretty freaking good for Landon Norris. So if you guys don't know this, Landon Norris was in for Formula 2 racing, where he was actually he won several times, dude. He was on his way to win a 2nd time in Formula 2 racing, and then McLaren said, no, you don't have to bother with that small racing. Come to the Formula 1, the big boy racing, camp, and let's see what you can do in our very garbage McLaren. Because remember, McLaren is not a very fast car. They're like approximately top six cars. So they are not top 3, they're not top 4, they're top 6. Top 6 fastest cars in Formula 1, but they're not top 3, they're not top 4. Sergio Perez is going to try and pass Landon Norris. All that Landon Norris has to do is drive defensively. All he has to do is make sure that on the straights, he makes sure that Sergio Perez cannot pass him on the straights. And at the slow corners, he just needs to position his car so that Sergio Perez cannot get alongside of him. That's all he has to do. Everything else does not matter. So it says your car 18 Stroll, no further action. Okay. So it was Lance Stroll that was under investigation. Ricardo was informed that Stroll was under investigation, and that's the reason why they messaged Ricardo. I thought that Ricardo passed the white line. No. It's Lance Stroll. And Lance Stroll, there's no action required because they actually showed the replay. Lance Stroll did not cross the line. He was on the line. And there's a difference between crossing a line and being on the line. Okay, so the DRS. So basically Sergio Perez gets DRS. If you don't know what DRS is basically giving you an advantage on the guy in front of you. If you are within 1 second of the guy in front of you, you get DRS. DRS allows you to have less drag. If you don't know this, Formula 1 cars have wings. The wings allow the car to have drag, and the drag allows the car to have downforce. Now, Formula 1 has designed a system that to improve the chances of drivers passing each other. They said that, okay, fine, let's have specific areas on a racetrack where we put these activation systems, that if you are 1 second behind the guy in front of you, the guy that you're trying to pass, if you're 1 second behind the guy in front of you that you're trying to pass, then the DRS activates and your back wing opens up, which means you have no downforce, no drag. Because on a straight, you don't need downforce. Downforce is required at corners because you're using speed to get the car to get stuck to the road and then turn, so your car could use as much speed to turn around the corner. So Perez is getting this DRS and he's trying to catch up to Landon Norris, which he has already done. And now, because he's catched up to Landon Norris, now he's also getting the extra the added advantage of DRS, and now he's got all the tools that he requires. However, guess what? It is still almost impossible to pass on Monte Carlo. Okay, so another development in the race. Lewis Hamilton has been told by his team that he needs to do fastest lap. However, he has to wait until Max Verstappen passes him, because if he doesn't, then guess what? They will show him blue flags because Max Verstappen is about to lap Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen is about to lap Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis Hamilton wants to get extra point in the championship. And what you can do is you can get an extra point by being top 6 or top 7, and then ultimately having the fastest lap of the race. If you can get the fastest lap of the race, then you can get an extra point added to the point total. Lewis Hamilton putting the fastest lap, 1 minute 20.9 seconds. New lap record actually. But remember, he's doing this because he wants to get that extra point. He is down in 7th place, he can't do anything, he's literally about to get lapped by Max Verstappen. So ultimately speaking, Lewis Hamilton also went into the pits. That is also why he went into the pits. He got a new set of tires, so his car is basically perfect. Not everybody can do it, especially if they don't have fresh tires. Lewis Hamilton went to the pits, got fresh tires. Now his final point tally is going to be 7 points, which means he's going to have 101 points, which means 4-point difference to Max Verstappen. The funny thing would be if somehow Red Bull can get Perez or someone else to actually set the fastest lap and take away that point, the championship point, because remember, 1 point could make a difference. And that's exactly what Mercedes is doing. They are trying to make a difference by getting Lewis Hamilton that extra point. Only 6 laps remaining. 6 laps remaining. Like I knew as soon as I saw that Max Verstappen was in front, I was like, well, GG, that is Max Verstappen's race to lose. I don't know what Lewis Hamilton was doing qualifying in 6th place. Like Lewis Hamilton is the most experienced driver when it comes to winning races and championships. And why he would even consider himself to qualify in 6th place on a racetrack that you can't pass on is mind-blowing. It's insane. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what was going on. Landon Norris is still being pushed by Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez is just 1 second behind Landon Norris. I want Landon Norris, like I want Sergio Perez to be in 3rd place. But at the same time, I don't want Landon Norris to lose his 3rd place. So this is a very weird situation. Landon Norris is in 3rd place. He's a pretty cool driver, very talented. Like Landon Norris is the future of Formula 1. The future of Formula 1 will see Landon Norris being race winning. You know, literally next year, Formula 1 will move away from having one team be more powerful than another team. Next year, the cars will be basically equal. The first time in forever that the Formula 1 cars are going to be on equal terms, starting a championship, starting a new season. And I will not be surprised if Lando Norris is going to win next year's Formula 1 championship. I would say if there's ever a time for Landon Norris to show what he's made of. He's most likely going to do it next year, dude. I do not deny that Max Verstappen is still a threat, and Max Verstappen is more than likely going to be the championship leader in the start of next year. But I will not be surprised if Landon Norris will be one of the championship contenders for first place next year. So hold this space. You will see sooner or later next year, sooner or later, Landon Norris's name will be top 3 or maybe even top 2 next year this time. Next year this time you will see Landon Norris's name, because I'm telling you, when it comes to actual talent, actual racing talent, Landon Norris is by far one of the best to come into Formula 1 at his age. All these other young drivers, I'm not taking anything away from Charles Leclerc, I'm not taking any away from Max Verstappen, but when it comes to talent that you have to actually respect, Landon Norris has the amount of championships that he has gained from his previous racing championships, lower class racing championships, lower level racing. However, it leads up to Formula 1 and he has done it all. So personally speaking, Landon Norris, I believe, has got a bucket load of skill, and we will see that skill on display next year. And yes, of course, I do think that I do believe that Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc will be there as well. However, I think it will be very funny, very odd to see Lewis Hamilton. It will be very, very, very odd to see Lewis Hamilton compete with these young bucks, these young drivers, these young skilled drivers. Because unfortunately, age does have an impact on your reaction time. And if you're an equal machinery, I'm pretty sure that the young talented driver might actually show you something that you would not expect. They're saying that Sergio Perez might be charging up his battery for a late race attack. If you don't know this, Formula 1 is a hybrid sport. They use V6 engines as well as kinetic energy conservation power. So each time that the car goes into brake mode, the car stores energy in its battery power, which is also like a battery motor that they use. I believe they call it ERS. So they call it ERS, and that basically allows them to have electronic power combined with actual, mechanical V6 power. So they can add that power. I believe it adds like a couple kilowatt, couple horsepower, like 50 or so, but it does help when you're trying to get past someone. It does help when you're trying to catch up to someone. And all the drivers have it. So driver vote of the day is Vettel. Oh, everybody wants to give the Vettel driver of the day. Driver of the day consultation prize, because Vettel has never been able to show how good he is, because ultimately he hasn't won a championship ever since he left Red Bull. Ultimately, Vettel has never ever been able to prove that he's a world champion after leaving Red Bull, which is kind of sad. And that is why I say Vettel's skill left him once he left Red Bull. And it's almost like there's some very strange things going on as to why he was that good at Red Bull. Race control, black and white flag for car number 22, Tsunoda, track limits. Track limits? Dude, the whole track is covered by barriers. How the hell? Oh, he probably crossed this. He crossed this. Okay, I think I know which corner he he cut a corner, the only corner that there's no barriers. There's only one corner, and he cut a corner where there's no barriers. Damn. Poor guy, man. Hamilton has the fastest lap of the race. Can someone take that away from Hamilton? Why didn't they do it with Vettel? Vettel could have gone into the pits and then try and get fastest lap. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lewis Hamilton's fastest lap is so fast that it takes a very strong car like another Mercedes or a Red Bull to at least get that. Currently, with the current performance of these cars. So last lap, boys and girls, last lap. I think Landon Norris will not lose his position. He will definitely still keep it. Sergio Perez cannot pass Landon Norris because this track is almost impossible. Trust me, Max Verstappen wants to win this race. This is one of the races, like everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win on Monte Carlo. Everybody wants to win the Monaco Monte Carlo race. And there we go, Max Verstappen won the race. So final stand reading is Max Verstappen first, Carlos Sainz second, Landon Norris third, Sergio Perez fourth, Sebastian Vettel fifth, Pierre Gasly sixth, Lewis Hamilton seventh, Lance Stroll eighth, Sebastian Ocon 9th, Antonio Giovinazzi 10th, Kimi Räikkönen 11th, Daniel Ricciardo 12th, Fernando Alonso 13th, George Russell 14th, Nicholas Latifi 15th, Yuki Tsunoda in 16th. And Mazepin in 7th. Mazepin did not crash, dude. Mazepin did not crash. That is crazy. But let's be honest. Let's just be very honest. Mazepin is in last place. The guy was literally racing just to not crash his car. Like he was the only goal Mazepin had is don't crash the car, don't crash the car, don't crash the car. So finish last, don't crash the car. Okay, so that is it for the race. Thank you so much for joining me. So championship is led by Max Verstappen. Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen is first place. Lewis Hamilton second. Max Verstappen leads the championship by 4 points, 105. Lewis Hamilton 101 because he did the fastest lap. He got an extra point. He's leading the World Championship. He's team principal. Christian Horner is telling him he's leading the team, the World Championship for the Drivers' World Championship. But ultimately, I think things are going to change, man. I think if FIA is going to make changes, I just really believe it. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. See you in the next live streams. Ciao for now. Bye.
Search for SuperDaveDev, then subscribe with notification bell on.